So we'll continue our Python learning. So today we are going to talk about file handling and exception handling. We'll see how we can read and write files using Python, and then how we handle exceptions and errors. So after this session, we'll have two more sessions left. During the holidays, I'll try to finish those, then we can complete the Python for beginners course. So let's go to our topic today, which is file handling and exception handling. So files are files are essential for working with external data, and Python provides built-in function for reading and writing files. For reading or opening or reading or writing to a file, we need to first open the file, and to open the file, we use the open keyword, give the file name, and there are modes of opening. How do I want to open the file, right? Do I need to open the file for reading or writing or appending, right? So if I want to read the file, then I'll open the file with read mode or R mode. If I want to open the file with for writing, we'll open it for writing with the W mode. If I want to open the file for appending new content, I'll use append mode, which is A, right? So if I use write W, it will overwrite the previous file. But if I open it in append mode, I can append new content, right? And while reading the file, there are again three types of reads. So if I open the file and do file.read, it will read the entire content once. Read line, I can read the file line by line. Read lines, all the lines will be put into a list. And we'll see an example of all these things when we go to the code part of it. And while writing a file, we do file.write and give the content. Right? And if I want to append new lines to the file, after writing the file, I'll have to write a new line. The new line notation is \n. Right? Now, the recommended way is to use the with context manager, right? So with, if I say with open example.txt r as f, right? If I do that, it automatically closes the file when the block is exited. And we'll see an example of this. So the recommended approach is always like wherever possible to use a context manager with for file handling, right? And we'll see an example of that. Now, if I want to read a file or write a file in binary mode, I use RB for reading binary, the mode, or WB for writing binary or writing binary content to a file, right? So let's look at some code, and then we'll look at the exception handling. So this code again will be available in my repo. First, we'll see reading a file, right? So for that, I have created a file called myfile.txt. This is the sample text of the file, and we'll see different ways to read this file, right? So I created three different ways to read the file. In the first technique, or in the first approach, I'm reading the entire file content. So here I am opening the file in read mode and doing a file.read. In the second one, I am reading all the lines of the file in a list. Like I'm again opening the file in read mode and doing a read lines to read all the lines of the file in a list. And then for reading line by line for the file, after opening the file, I read the line and keep reading until line is available. If there is no line, I break, and then I'm done, right? So let's see how it works. Right? So the file location is myfile.txt. So this is the file I'm using. And first we'll call the read file function. I'll pass the file location. it will open the file location and I'll read the entire content, right? So if let me comment this one. So if I run this, all the content of the file will come at once, right? I can see all the content of the file at once. Now let's do the line by line file reading. So if you follow the line by line reading of the file, I open the file in read mode, count equal to 0 because I wanted to show the line counts. Then I start the loop, right? While true, line equal to file dot read line. So it will read the first line. Since I have a line, I'll go to the else part. I'm increasing the count and printing that reading line number 1. So this will be line number 1. And then I print the content of the line. Dot strip will strip the, if there are any spaces before and after the line, right? But it will print the first line. Then again, it will go to the loop, read the second line. Since I have the line, it will come here, increase the count to 2, read the second line, and then print the line. And it will continue to loop until all the lines are read, right? So let's run this next. So read line from file location, same file. So now see, reading line number 1, this is my line number 1, line number 2, line number 3 was space in the file, line number 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, right? All the lines I have read. If you see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So this is how I read files line by line. Now, if I want to put all the lines into a list, then I do read lines. Again, I open the file in read mode, do the read lines, and all the lines will be in a list. So let me run this. So if I run this, you will see everything is in a list. So if I want to read, so I can say from line in lines. So each line in the list will be printed now. Let me keep this also so that you can look at it. So all the lines I can see one by one. So this is how the read line works, or the read file operations. We have seen read file operations. Now we will look at write operations, right? So write file is again same similar approach like read. The exception is that we open the file in write mode, which is W, and whatever content we pass, we'll do file.write content, right? If I do an append, it will append the content to the file. So let's write the code for it, right? So let's say content, I say, hello, I am Rajiv, right? Is the content. Let me call the write file function now. I'll say write file. I need to give the file location. Let's create a file location. File lock equal to, in the data folder, I want my file 02.txt. So I'll pass the file lock and the content, right? And I should see the file creating under the data folder, right? So let me run this. So my file.txt, hello, I'm Rajiv, right? It is there. Now, if I say, let's say, hello, I am Rajiv, I am learning Python, it will override the file, right? Since I opened it in write mode. If you see, it is overridden the file. Now, if I use append, let me use append, and let me create another line here. So let's say hello, or learning Python is fun. This should be, if I use append file now, right? In append, what happens? only the mode changes, right? Writing mode is A or append. In this case, you'll see that it has not overridden, but learning Python is fine. But it did not write in this next line because we did not print a new line character. So for that, what I could have done is, right? So when I add the new line, it will now be written in the next line like this, right? So this is how reading and writing operations work. Now, exception handling. How do we exception handling? So exception handling, let's go to the theory first. So for exception handling, we use the try block to enclose the code that might raise an exception. And it is always a best practice to handle exceptions. And as much fine-grained exception that you can do, it is good for the support people to then find out if something breaks, right? Why it is broken. Right? So finer grained exception handling is very good. Like and use try and except block. So try block is where you enclose the code that you think might raise an exception, and then the accept block is how or you write the logic for how to handle that exception if it occurs. And I can have multiple accept blocks. So let's see this, right? So let's say one of the things that can happen here is that my directory is not there, right? If the directory is not there, it will not be able to write. The exception would be the directory or the file is not found, right? So I can put this entire content into the try block and then say accept. I can do a coarse grained exception like general catch-off exception. I say print E. So whatever the exception message will be there, this is general catch-all exception. And let's say I say data 2, right? So data 2 directory is not there. When I run it, it will say no such file or directory, right? So whatever, like since this is the print E is what it is printing, I can actually do this. Print print no exception occurred, no file, right? I can print this. So then exception occurred, no file. Or I can do a fine-grained one where I can accept exception, file not found exception as FE, print file is not there. And then do print FE. So now file is not there, right? It came here, and any general catch-all exception will be here. Okay. So that's all I wanted to show today. The file handling and the exception handling. I'll stop the video here, and then in the next lesson, we'll learn about the other two sections. Thank you.